What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. It's always Falcons Nation, rise up. It is Tuesday afternoon, and I want to go ahead and give you guys the post-game show for Sunday's game where we did take on the Carolina Panthers. We did go ahead and sweep the Panthers this year by a score of 40-20 on Sunday. As I told you guys in the pregame show, I did believe that this game, would be a blowout. I didn't really think that Carolina really has a lot to offer on the offensive side of the ball. I didn't think that they would be able to keep up with us, and they've been struggling down the stretch. As you know, they did fire the head coach Ron Rivera, and I did think that the team would play uninspired football, and they basically got dominated on both sides of the ball on Sunday by our Atlanta Falcons. So let's jump right into the video. First, I want to go ahead and talk about some of the milestones that was reached on Sunday by our Atlanta Falcons players. Big ups to Matt Ryan, 50,000 passing yards on his career passing, and now he's in the top 10 in passing yards all time. So definitely Matt Ryan's a Hall of Famer in my book. I did do a whole video of why Matt Ryan's a Hall of Famer. So go ahead and check that video out on my YouTube channel. If you haven't liked, shared, and subscribed, definitely go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so you'll know when I do videos. But I did do a video about Matt Ryan and why he's a Hall of Famer. As you know, he's the best quarterback we've had ever in Atlanta Falcons history. He has won an MVP in 2016 in the NFL, and he did lead us to the Super Bowl in 2016. So, man, big ups to Matt Ryan on a great career so far, and just keep it going, man. He definitely could end up being top 3 in passing yards when it's all said and done. Depends on how long he plays. Knock on wood that he doesn't have any serious injuries or career-threatening injuries. But Matt Ryan has been very durable in his career. So big ups to him, man. Also, big ups to Julio Jones on passing 1,000 yards or receiving this season. He's been an excellent receiver since he's been with the Atlanta Falcons. One of the leaders on this team, a great teammate, locker room leader, can run the full route tree, and does it all, man. Mentors his Calvin Ridley and all of the other receivers in that receiving room. But he's been a great player for the Atlanta Falcons for many years. And to me, Julio Jones is probably the best wide receiver in the game. He can do it all. He's tall. He can run all the routes, very fast, good after run after catch. Good blocking receiver, very physical. So, man, big ups to him on 6 straight seasons with 1,000 yards receiving. Big ups to Julio Jones. And also, I want to also give big ups to Roddy White, who did get into the Atlanta Falcons Ring of Honor on Sunday. I didn't get to mention it in my last video, the pregame show, and I did want to mention Roddy White and thank him for all he did for our Atlanta Falcons. He was the leader in touchdown catches and also in receiving yards, but I believe Julio Jones has passed him in receiving yards at this point in his career. But Roddy White definitely was a huge influence on Julio Jones when he first came in as a rookie. Roddy White was a very physical receiver, a great blocker, another great locker room leader, a very nasty receiver. But I do a possession receiver, but I do appreciate all Roddy White did for the Atlanta Falcons. I want to wish him the best in his retirement, him and his family. He says now he's coaching high school football, so big ups to him, man, on getting into the Atlanta Falcons Ring of Honor. And let's go jump right into the video, and let's talk about this game. Like I said, the game pretty much went as I thought it would go. I did think that we could shut down Christian McCaffrey, which the defense did a great job of shutting down Christian McCaffrey. Deion Jones did an excellent job covering him out of the backfield. He did a good job of limiting him when he did catch the ball, limiting him on his yardage after catch. Great tackling by the whole team in this game. We were getting flying to the ball. A great job of getting turnovers by the defense in this game. Two interceptions for DeMonte Casey, who is just a baller. He's definitely a ball hawk. He had 2 interceptions in this game. Big ups to the defensive line for putting pressure on Kyle Allen all day. 2 sacks by Vic Beasley and a strip fumble. 2 strip fumbles by Vic Beasley. 2 sacks by Tack McKinley. So it's just a great game for the defense all around. Complimentary football was played in this game. We won the trenches in this game. Excuse me, as I talked about all season, that we needed to control the ball and do a good job of stopping the run. We did a great job of stopping the run in this game. They didn't have 100 yards rushing. So this is a great job overall by the whole team. Now I want to talk about quick injuries before I jump into how well the offense played. Desmond Trufant did break his forearm, and he's going to be out the remainder of the season. So I hate to see that. And also Calvin Ridley did have an abdominal injury, and he's going to be out the remainder of the season as well. So we're definitely going to need Kendall Sheffield to step up, and all of the younger players. We need Brady Wade Wilson to step up. Jordan Miller might start getting more time at the corner position. Good news is Trufant did get hurt with a toe injury early in the season and missed about 4 games. So Isaiah Oliver did play the number 1 corner spot, and Kendall Sheffield did play. So they already gained some experience due to injuries. And for Calvin Ridley on his side, Julio Jones was out, I believe, 1 game, and Russell Gage and all of those young guys, Zacchaeus, all of these young guys that we have on this roster for the receiver spot, Christian Blake, all of those guys have been getting more time since Mohamed Sanu was gone, and since Austin Hooper was out for a couple weeks. Those guys have slowly but surely been getting more and more snaps and playing time. So hopefully those guys get more acclimated. Now with Calvin Ridley being out, we're really going to need Russell Gage to step up, Zacchaeus to step up, and Christian Blake. We're going to need all of those guys to try to take up the slack for Calvin Ridley. We're going to need all those guys to step up. Good news is we did get Austin Hooper back on Sunday, and he did play well, and he's another huge target in the red zone, a huge target on third downs for Matt Ryan. He is that security blanket, and he is that mismatch against most linebackers, corners, and safeties in that slot position. So having him run up the seams and having him know how to sit down in the zones to pick up first downs for Matt Ryan, and him coming out of the backfield with the screen passes and things of that nature, we're really going to need him to step up as well with Calvin Ridley being out. But it's been it was a great game on Sunday. Big ups to Zacchaeus, who had a 93-yard touchdown catch by a bomb from Matt Ryan. So all of those that saying Matt Ryan has a noodle arm. I had somebody comment on my page last week, I think it was, or 2 weeks ago, saying that Matt Ryan has a noodle arm. He didn't have a noodle arm on Sunday. He looked really good on Sunday. Matt Ryan still proving all of the doubters and the haters wrong about his arm and about his skill set. So that is my quarterback. Y'all need to stop hating on Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan continues to ball out. He balled out on Sunday with another 300-yard passing game. Big ups to Devontae Freeman on his first rushing touchdown of the season. He did battle a lot of injuries this season. He has battled a lot of injuries through the last 3 seasons. So big ups to Devontae Freeman. Did look a little bit better in this game than he's looked all season long. He looked like he's rounding back into form. The offensive line did an excellent job of protecting Matt Ryan in this game. They did a lot better. It showed a lot of improvement. We got Chris Lindstrom back, our guard that we drafted in the first round this year out of Boston College. He played very well right next to his running mate who we drafted, and Caleb McGarry at right tackle. Those guys held down the right side of the O-line, and they did a good job. Matt Gunno got more snaps in this game because Jamon Brown and Carpenter were out this game, and Gunno stepped right in. Him and John Wetzel did an excellent job of stepping in, and we only gave up 1 sack in this game after giving up 9 sacks against the Saints. So y'all did a better job at keeping Matt Ryan clean in this game. And like I've told you guys before, if you keep Matt Ryan clean and upright, he shows you what he can do when he has time in the pocket to survey the field and make good decisions and throw lasers. He did a good job of throwing lasers in this game and throwing bombs in this game. And that's because the offensive line kept him clean all game, and Matt Ryan showed you what he's capable of when he has time to pass the ball and when he has time to step up in the pocket and read the defense. So a great job by the offense. Like I said, great job by Devontae Freeman. Had about 85 yards rushing. A good job by Brian Hill. He also had a touchdown run in this game, and he continues to improve. So I like our little three-headed running backs that we have. I want to see more out of those guys heading into this game against the 49ers next Sunday. I do want to see a lot more out of Freeman, out of Quadri Olson, and out of Brian Hill. I think that three-headed back rushing attack in the backfield would be good. We need to stop rushing Freeman so much, meaning giving Freeman all of the carries. And I feel like we need to split up those carries between the three running backs to keep Devontae Freeman fresh and to keep him from being injured. I think to prevent injury, if they played Brian Hill and Quadri Olson a little bit more, that'll keep Freeman fresh, and he doesn't have to worry about taking all of those hits and, all of those hits to his knees and to his ankles and things of that nature. So, into the head, because he did have an issue with concussions last year as well. So if we want to keep Freeman fresh, I think we just need to mix it up. We have enough running backs on this team. We've kept all of these a stable of running backs. So we need to use all of these guys, not just on special teams, but handing them the ball. I like the game plan from the offensive coordinator, Dirk Cutter, and Greg Knapp, and whoever's all pitching in, whoever's helping him with the offensive play calling. I like what I've seen. I like what I saw out of everybody on the offensive side of the ball in this game. I like the defensive scheme I seen out of Raheem Morris and Jeff Ulbrich. They were bringing pressure. They did a good job of tackling and turning the ball over in this game. And that's what I figured would happen in this game. So big ups to the whole Atlanta Falcons team for winning this game on Sunday. But that's pretty much it. We did sweep the Carolina Panthers for this year. So that's pretty much it for the post-game show for the Carolina Panthers and Atlanta Falcons game. Not too much more I need to get into with that, but I do want to go ahead and do a sneak preview of the game that we have coming up on Sunday, because this is a big game for the Atlanta Falcons. Even though we're out of the playoff race at this point, I really think that this game on Sunday is going to be a real litmus test for our Atlanta Falcons against the 49ers to see how good of a team we really are this year and to see how much we really improved down the stretch since the first 8 games of the season where we were 1-7. And we've turned it around, and we've had, I believe, 3 wins since the bye week. So we've really turned things around and got a couple wins. I believe we're like 3-2 since the bye week. We beat the Panthers twice, and we beat the Saints once, and we lost to the Buccaneers and Saints once. So down the stretch, we had the 49ers, the Jaguars, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers again. So I'm looking forward to this game on Sunday. So let's talk a little bit about the 49ers and what I think the Falcons need to do in this game. In this game against the 49ers, man, the 49ers are a very physical team, very big and very good in the trenches. As you know, their coach is Kyle Shanahan, who was our offensive coordinator in 2015 and 16. He did help us reach the Super Bowl in 2016. So he's very innovative. He's very good at scheming up runs and passes and trick plays and stuff like that, and play action plays. So we have to be on our P's and Q's in this game coming up against the 49ers. We got to be ready in the trenches. This is going to really test our defensive line and Grady Jarrett and Vic Beasley and all those guys to see how much they've improved. Like I said, since the bye week, we're going to really see. This game is going to show us a lot, man. I really think a lot is riding on this game, because I really think if the 49ers, if the Falcons beat the 49ers in this on Sunday, I'm telling you guys right now, this could turn everything around as far as the Dan Quinn being let go. I really think if Dan Quinn wins this game on Sunday, this is going to be a stamp that he will come back next season for the Atlanta Falcons. And even if he doesn't win the game, if the game is close and competitive, I really think that Dan Quinn has a chance of sticking around. I told you guys he had to at least go 6-10, 7-9, and right now we're trending towards that 6-10, 7-9 record. So as long as he doesn't at least wins six games this season, I think that he really has a chance to stay on as the coach. I do think that Thomas Dimitroff will be fired at the end of the season, but I do think that Dan Quinn, he's turned it around enough in the second half of the season, and he's really competed well against the NFC South. And I really think that Arthur Blank is going to have a hard decision to make far as whether he should keep Dan Quinn or let Dan Quinn go. But I really think that Dan Quinn is going to end up keeping his job. But I really think a lot is riding on this game against the 49ers because the 49ers, I think, are 11-2. If the Falcons go in there and give them hell, or we win this game by chance, I really think that Dan Quinn, this can be a prove-it game. And it can be a prove-it game for a lot of players. Like a lot of players that you guys think that are like a Vic Beasley. A lot of players that you guys think that are going to automatically be cut after the season. I don't think that that's necessarily the case if they can prove themselves through the rest of the season. And this is the game that a lot of the guys that are on the chopping block can really change the narrative around, their name and things of that nature. And one of the players I think that this game is big for is Vic Beasley and Pat McKinley. If Vic Beasley is the number one player in this game, I think that he can change the narrative around his name, because I was looking up some statistics and some stats, and believe it or not, Vic Beasley is leading the Atlanta Falcons in sacks. As much as people hate Vic Beasley and we criticize him, he has 6 sacks on the season. The most sacks for the whole team. Grady Jarrett, I believe, has 5.5 sacks. And I think Pat McKinley has about 4 sacks. So as much flack as Vic Beasley takes about not getting to the quarterback and he makes too much money and stuff for our Atlanta Falcons team, he's leading our team in sacks. And really, he's having a better season than Pat McKinley if you really think about it. As much as I love Pat McKinley, to me, Pat McKinley is more injury prone than Vic Beasley is. So that's another tough situation that we're going to have to look at the end of this season. Even though Vic Beasley's contract is up, I believe, after this season, and Pat McKinley still is under his rookie deal, I really think that they're going to have to look long and hard at that Vic Beasley, whether to cut or re-sign him. That's going to be a really tough decision. But Vic Beasley can really change Arthur Blank's mind and whoever our GM is at that point. If it's still TD and Dan Quinn is still here, he is a Dan Quinn guy. Dan Quinn did draft Vic Beasley, and Vic Beasley did lead the league in sacks in 2016, and he showed flashes at times that he could be a successful player in this league. I know a lot of people that are Atlanta Falcons fans might not like to hear what I'm saying at this point, but I'm telling you guys, man, Vic Beasley, if he's used in the correct way and if you scheme it up correctly, he can be a valuable player to your team because he's very athletic and he's very elusive. He's a fast guy, and he's a very good guy, a very good linebacker and things of that nature in coverage. Like when you drop him off the line, he can do a lot of things when it comes to spying on quarterbacks that like to run the ball. So I really don't think that Vic Beasley is done. A lot of people think that Vic Beasley is done. I really don't think he's done. But I feel like in this game against the 49ers, if he come out and have another 2 sacks or another strip fumble and, run it back for a touchdown or have an interception, if he does something freakishly good in this game and end up being the reason that he's wreaking havoc and he ends up being one of the reasons that we come out and win the game against the 49ers, I really think that they're going to have to think long and hard about some of the guys that are up for contracts. Devondre Campbell, this is a big game for him as well because I think he's another player that's on the chopping block, and a lot of people are looking to move on from, thinking that we should need to move on from him. I wouldn't mind letting go of Devondre Campbell at the end of this season just because we have Foye Oluokun, who's been stepping up and playing well on special teams and also has played well in the snaps that he has been receiving. But you never know. If Devondre Campbell comes out here and plays with his hair on fire, because he's been playing with his hair on fire the last couple of weeks, if he comes out here and has another sack like he had last week or has another interception like he's had in the last 3 to 4 weeks where he's had 2 interceptions and 2 or 3 sacks, we really could be looking at him as another player of they might think about bringing him back, as much as we might not like to hear that, because if Dan Quinn is still here, one thing you got to know about Dan Quinn is he likes his players that he drafted, and he likes guys that knows his system. And Devondre Campbell is another player that has been here and been a part of this core group since the Super Bowl. since 2016, and he's another guy that Dan Quinn really likes. So as much as, I would rather probably move on for Devondre Campbell. If Devondre Campbell balls out against the 49ers and he flashed on the screen and he does a good job, if they're playing him against George Kittle, I hope they don't play him against George Kittle. But if he ends up guarding George Kittle and has a successful game, this could be a big game where he could turn heads and have guys really thinking he could be trending upward. So Vic Beasley and Devondre Campbell, this is a game for you guys that are on the chopping block to really shine and step up. Two other players that have a really good chance to shine in this game is our corners, Isaiah Oliver and Kendall Sheffield. If those guys ball out, Desmond Trufant could really be in trouble. I really think that Desmond Trufant has turned things around. He leads the team in interceptions with 4 interceptions this season, and he really has done a better job at catching the ball. So I can tell that he's really been using the jug machine at practice and working on his catching skills. And he's done a good job this year when he came back of earning the money in that contract that he's gotten. I really don't want to see us move on from Trufant. I think that Trufant proved this season that he is a good cornerback and that he's really a veteran at this point. He's very savvy, and he showed me some things this year. To me, this has been Desmond Trufant's best season, to me, if you ask me, as far as him intercepting the ball. Other than the injuries, to me, this has been his most productive season as far as defending the pass and intercepting balls and being a playmaker on defense. So I think that he had a pretty solid season. Too bad that he broke his forearm, because now we can't see him against, stiffer competition like the 49ers. I really would have liked to see him match up against Emmanuel Sanders and Deebo Samuel. I would have liked to see him match up against those type of guys, the upper competition in this league, to see, how he fares. But I think that Trufant at this point is safe. But like I was saying, for the younger guys, Isaiah Oliver, Kendall Sheffield, they can really make their mark and show if we still need Trufant on this team. If they can come out and ball out and show like that they playing lockdown defense on the outside, we might feel like Trufant is expendable. But at this point, I would hold on to Trufant. I think Vic Beasley and Campbell are the two guys that are really on the chopping block, and they're really in trouble of maybe being cut in the offseason. So those guys better ball out these last 3 games. But with that being said, let's just jump right back into what I was saying about the 49ers. I think that the 49ers are a very tough team in the trenches. This is going to be a real test for our offensive line, Chris Lindstrom, Caleb McGarry. They're going to really be tried by fire in this game. All our offensive line as a whole is going to be tried by fire. So this is a game where they can really show that they've made improvements since that last Saints game where they had the 9 sacks. Because last week, I do give them credit for keeping Matt Ryan clean against the Panthers, because those guys get paid just as well as anybody else. They're professionals. But as we know, the Carolina Panthers at this point are not making the playoffs, and they're not a very good team. So I like to judge our players against the best of the best to really find out how good they really are and how much improvement they really made. And this game on Sunday is going to give us a real good look of how good our team really is and how good the coaches on our defense, with all of the adjustments that have been made against Kyle Shanahan and somebody that has one of the better offensive minds in this game. We're really going to be tested on the defense and also be tested on the offensive side, because the 49ers have a great defense and they have a good offense as well. Now, for the defensive side of the ball with the 49ers, I really think that their cornerbacks are very suspect. They have young players back there. They have Richard Sherman, who's a solid guy and a veteran, but they got on the other side a guy named Weatherspoon. He's a younger player. I believe he might be a rookie. So I really think that our receivers could have their way with their cornerbacks. At this point, Sherman is at his older age at this point. He's in his or either upper 30s or mid 30s at this point, and he's lost a step when it comes to his straight line speed and his speed in general. He's just a very physical corner and long, like he was in Seattle, but he's lost some of his speed. So I really think that anybody you match up on Julio Jones is a mismatch, and Julio probably is going to kill him on Sunday, to be honest. Now, if they double team Julio, we're really going to need Gage to step up. Zacchaeus again, we're going to need that speed out of Zacchaeus take the top off the defense. We're going to need Gage's ability to catch the ball in the slot. He's proven to be a good, possession receiver. He's proven to be a good possession receiver. Gage, he's showing that he has really strong hands, and he goes up and makes catches. I just need him to stay healthy, because a lot of times Gage catch the ball, if he gets hit or he lands funny, he kind of gets hurt because he's a slimmer type of guy. So hopefully he can stay healthy in this game. Christian Blake is another guy that has some speed. So hopefully we can get our speedsters out there on one-on-one coverage on Witherspoon, who's the rookie or the inexperienced corner for the 49ers. The Saints did a good job last week of kind of exposing Witherspoon and taking advantage of him. And they also threw the ball at Richard Sherman a couple times, where he had a couple of PIs, because Richard Sherman can get really handsy and get really physical, and sometimes that works against Richard Sherman. And one thing about Richard Sherman, if Julio Jones does get going in this game and he's guarding him, Richard Sherman gets really frustrated when he's getting dominated. So a lot of people don't think that we have a chance in this 49ers game, but I think we do have a chance to win the game. I think that we're going to catch a lot of people by surprise in this game. Do I think we're going to win the game? I don't really want to say that yet until I go down a week and see who's going to actually be available to play in the game on both sides for the 49ers and for the Falcons. But I really think that we have a chance to shock the world, because this game is in San Francisco. And I think that the point spread is going to be huge because of our record. And a lot of people think that the Atlanta Falcons, are terrible. But I don't really think we're bad as people think we are. I just think that we've really been snake bitten by these injuries the last 2 seasons. Losing Keanu Neal 2 years in a row, basically for the full season. Losing Chris Lindstrom in the first game of his rookie season. Those things really crippled our offensive line. And losing Keanu Neal really crippled our defense, because it took like the whole first half of the season for Dan Quinn and for the the defensive coordinators and whoever to realize that KZ needed to move back to that free safety spot. But if you go back and look at my videos, I talked about that early in the season. If you go back to one of the first videos I made right after Keanu Neal got injured in that game that he got injured in, I said that Kamal Ishmael was not going to be able to fill that role, and that we needed to either bring in somebody to play that spot, meaning off of free agency like an Eric Berry, or one of those guys we tried out like a George Iloka. I really think that we needed to bring in somebody, or I said we needed to move KZ back there with Ricardo Allen. But I really think that not moving one of those guys back to safety and waiting that long to move KZ back really crippled our team on defense, because Jamal Carter and Kamal Ishmael was terrible at the safety position. They were getting exposed, and we brought in Jonathan Cyprien, and he got injured in like the first game that he played in, but he looked terrible as well when he played that safety position, because there were just not enough time for them to get acclimated. So we should have been moved KZ back, and I believe that was one of the big mistakes that Dan Quinn and our defensive coordinators and our scouts made, with not realizing that the role of Keanu Neal are big shoes that needed to be filled, and the only person that really could have filled those shoes was DeMonte Casey, or one of those guys in the free agents pool that we didn't go out and get. So at this point, it is what it is, but I really think that those 2 injuries were huge injuries, that Chris Lindstrom and that Keanu Neal, and then also the Trufant injury early in the season really crippled that defense, especially in the secondary, because we were already struggling in our secondary. But that really just crippled the secondary, because we had an inexperienced corner with Kendall Sheffield and Isaiah Oliver both playing, and then we also had an inexperienced we had guys that were not proven trying to play the safety role, or guys that had lost a step, like Kamal Ishmael, who is like 100 times worse than Keanu Neal at playing safety. So it is what it is at this point, Falcons Nation. But that's just a sneak peek of what I'm going to have for you guys against the 49ers game. But like I said, man, I'm gonna have another video for y'all later on in this week about the 49ers once I see who's playing in the game and stuff like that. But I do think we have a chance at winning the game. I do really think that this is an opportunity for our coaching staff and for these players. This is a huge opportunity to prove a lot of the doubters wrong, and to prove that we're a better team than a lot of people think, and we're a lot better than our record has shown. Even with us being out Calvin Ridley and being out Trufant, this is going to be a really tough game to win. I really don't see us winning the game against the 49ers, but I can see a path to victory in a way that we can win the game. But this has been your boy Jew. Like I said, I'll get into a little bit more. That was just a little sneak peek into the 49ers pre-game show, but I'll have a lot more for you guys coming up later on in the week. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Hit that like button for your boy. Please like, share, subscribe. Tell all of your Falcons friends, about the page. Share it to your Falcons fan groups if you have any on Facebook. Share it to your friends on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. It'll be @JewTalkSports. If you want to chat Falcons football, you always can drop a comment down below the video and just tell me what you think about the video. Or if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer your questions. But as always, man, this has been your boy Jew signing off, man. Y'all have a great rest of y'all week, and I'll be back later on in the week with a little bit more for you guys, man. But all right, this has been your boy Jew signing out. I love you guys. Peace, man.